Welcome.
Welcome, guys. Yeah, this is another episode of Tale of Two Dead Girls. I am Kayla.
I'm Makaela.
And this is episode 8.
Yeah, this is our podcast. Welcome.
Yeah, so here we talk about spooky stuff, we talk about urban legends, we talk about true crime, murder cases, all that good stuff.
All that jazz. If you're spooky, welcome in. Get ready to get spook shitless.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've said that in a while. Have we?
I think I said it like a couple times ago, but I don't know for sure. But say it, guys. Let it catch on. Come on.
Yes. Hashtag spooked shitless.
Hell yeah. All right. So, I mean, today we're like kind of trying something different today. Like with our stories, we're not like doing like traditional paranormal or traditional true crime. Also, I wanted to talk about like this show I've been watching because I have been addicted to it and I got Brandon hooked on it, my boyfriend, if you guys don't know. But it's called 60 Days In, and it's about like actual like just normal people who've like never been to jail. They like voluntarily go to jail for 60 days like undercover.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I want to do that.
It's like so like this like prison like or this jail like hyped up their security, so they have all these good security cameras, and then like the people that go in, like one's a teacher, one's a cop, like one's from the military, one's just like a stay-at-home mom. Like they're all different, and they just like go in and have to like survive for 2 months like undercover and like keep their story.
Wow, that's interesting. I don't know if I'd be able to go to jail for 60 days, though.
I don't think I could, dude. Like, watching it, I'm like, I couldn't. Like,
that's a little too long. I'd probably go for, like, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Even that's hard. Like, I think, like, the first couple days are, like, crucial. Because that's, like, are they going to trust you? Like, do people think you're a snitch? Do people think you're a cop? Like, what do people think? You know?
That's
like,
scary.
It's super interesting, and it's like weird to see like how all these people like react differently to like going to jail and like how they react to the politics and stuff. And I don't know, it's super good. I was watching it and Brandon walked by and he's like, "Uh-oh, I'm hooked." Like, I want to watch. Is that
on Netflix?
It's on Hulu.
Oh, okay.
And there's like a few seasons. So like one season follows like 6 people or 7 people or something, and then like each season is different, like different people. So
cool.
Yeah, it's super good. Love it.
Okay, so my story is the legend of the Melon heads.
Ooh, I'm excited. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, so the Melon heads are beings that are usually described as small humanoids with bulbous heads.
Ooh,
who occasionally emerge from hiding places to attack people. There's different areas where these melon heads have been seen, so I'll talk about each individual one.
Like, are there different species of melon heads, or like each individual area?
There's different areas, and then in each area, they have, like, a different kind of legend. It's all kind of, like, similar, but they're all, like, tweaked differently.
It sounds, like, alien-y to me, like, their head. You know what I mean? Like, a bulbous head. I'm like, is it an alien? I don't know. I hope it is.
You know, it might be.
You never know.
So the first one I'll talk about is in Michigan. So in Michigan, the Melonheads are said to live mainly around the Felt Mansion in Allegan County. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And they have also reportedly been seen in Holland and southern forested areas of Ottawa County. So Holland is inside Michigan, not Holland, Netherlands.
The country. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So according to one story, they were originally children with hydrocephalus.
Oh, fuck.
Also known as waterhead syndrome. And waterhead syndrome is a condition in which fluid accumulates in the brain, typically in young children, enlarging the head and sometimes causing brain damage.
Jesus criminy.
Yeah, so...
Oh my god, I just looked at a picture of it. It does, like, look crazy. It looks
Yeah,
crazy.
it literally, like, blows up their brain and their
It
head, like, the top of their head.
I'll definitely post a picture on our Instagram because this is like a thing. It's
Yeah.
wild.
It's real. It's a real thing, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So, they apparently lived at, quote, the Junction Insane Asylum near the Felt Mansion. The legend has it that after enduring physical and emotional abuse, they became feral mutants, and were released into the forest surroundings when the asylum closed.
Oh my god.
Allegan, or Allegan, it might be Allegan County Historical Society has stated repeatedly that the Junction Insane Asylum actually never existed.
Oh my god. What?
However, the story has been part of the Ottawa County folklore, I believe, since the 1960s. It could be before that. But although it was said that it didn't exist, it was said to actually have been a prison at one point. So it might have not been an insane asylum, or it could have been, but it was a prison.
Like something was there. Oh my god, but how did these kids get in prison? I mean, it's just all a funk of situation.
Yeah, so Al Meshkin, who is the Laketown Township manager, once told the Holland Sentinel, I think that's how you pronounce
Sentinel?
it, newspaper, that he had, quote, heard the tales as a teenager, noting that his friends referred to them as wobbleheads.
Wobbleheads, I love it.
I know, that kind of just, like, reminds me of that, like...
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
Wait, what is that?
It's like Weeble Wobbles. Like, I don't know.
Weeble Wobble.
They're like little, like, toys.
Oh my gosh, that's cute. But yeah, so some versions some versions of the legend say that the children once lived in the Felt Mansion itself, but later retreated to a system of underground caverns or caves in a nearby hill left over from an abandoned zoo. The Dunes Correctional Facility once existed, so that's the prison that was where the Junction Insane Asylum was said to be.
Yeah.
The last remaining structure on that site today is ruins of the old trustee building, which once housed up to 80 inmates.
Oh my god. That's not a lot, though.
No, it's not. So in that particular version, legend has it that the children formed a plan to escape and kill the doctor that abused them.
Oh god.
It's also said that the children had no place to hide the body, so they cut it up in small pieces, which they hid around the mansion.
This reminds me of, like, Asylum.
Wait, is that a movie?
No, I can't think of it. What is that show? It's like Evan Peters is in it. It's American Horror Story.
Oh. Yeah, you know what? Frick, I need to watch that again. Apparently that's, like, everyone's favorite season. And
yes, I think we've even talked about this before. That's my favorite season for sure. I love it. Watch it, please.
I know, I need to watch it again. I don't really remember it. But yeah, so rumors exist that teenagers who had broken into the mansion saw ghosts of the children and claimed to see shadows of the doctor's murderer through the light coming from a door.
Damn.
Oh, not the murderer, sorry. Shadows of the doctor's murder through the light coming from an open door. So they saw...
like a vision.
And if you're a skeptic of the Melon heads, the legend actually goes back to the days of St. Augustine Seminary. So the Felt Mansion and its property became the St. Augustine Seminary for boys in 1949. The carriage house was used for classrooms, the mansion for housing, and behind where they built a school. So one of many who attended St. Augustine Seminary, now an investment manager from Grand Rapids, relayed how the term, quote, melon heads originated. And this is another quote. Rumors start because of the unknown. The melon heads were actually seminarians at St. Augustine Seminary in the Felt Mansion. The local kids called us that because it was a private school and we were brainy.
Ooh.
apparently public school children in the area thought students at St. Augustine were arrogant and privileged and would call them big-headed or melon heads. There was also some community resentment toward the seminary due to conflicting religious beliefs. Augustine Seminary built a few more buildings to the property in the 1960s, but declining enrollment in the 1970s forced it to sell the property. The state of Michigan began using the property for a state police post and tore down the boys' school behind the mansion and constructed the Dunes Correctional Facility, and now it's just the mansion. So that was the legend in Michigan.
Also, like, it says online that 1 in 500 kids are born with hydrosyphilis. So if that's the case, like, there's probably hella melon heads out there.
Yeah, that's a lot.
For sure.
So now the other states, the other state is Ohio. So Ohio's melon heads are said to spend most of their time lurking in the suburbs of Kirtland. They were originally orphans under the watch of a mysterious doctor who lived off of Wisner Road in Kirtland, which also happens to be right near a bridge also known as Cry Baby Bridge, which we might do like another episode on that. The doctor is known mainly by the name Dr. Crow and studied hydrosyphilis after World War II. He was said to be responsible for performing horrifying medical experiments on the children, causing them to develop large hairless heads and malformed bodies.
Evil. Burn him.
Burn him down.
Hate him.
It's said that these children were already suffering from hydrosyphilis and that Dr. Crow made their heads even larger by injecting their brains with excess fluid.
Excuse me, sir?
That just sounds so bad.
That's just like, what are you thinking? Like, that is bunk science. Like, he's like, this might work. Like, let's add more.
Yeah. Apparently, he did all that with the idea of breeding monstrous creatures that hardly resembled human beings at all. So his goal was to make something different. Then he wasn't trying to help them.
All right, Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah. His experiments came to an end when the children rebelled and attacked him, ripping him apart and eating him.
Yes!
So, after murdering the doctor, they burned down the orphanage. The children led a feral life in the woods, becoming cannibals and feeding on babies.
Where are they finding these babies? Jesus!
I have no idea. But I read someone named Paul submitted their version they heard as a teenager in the 1960s. I think I actually cited these... the article where I got this information from, so I'll add that at the end of this.
Okay.
So according to Paul, some teenagers stumbled upon a farmhouse deep in the woods. There was a man, a woman, and several children with malformed heads on the porch. The man said that he was a nuclear scientist in World War II, and the radiation exposure he suffered caused deformities in his children. When Paul went looking for the farmhouse, he was intercepted by several police officers who tried so hard to convince him that the story was fiction, and that Paul became even more convinced of their existence. Good. He thought the police were hiding something, but he was never able to confirm his suspicions. Wah, wah, wah.
That's... like, what? Why are the police hiding them? Like, police are like, whatever, let them eat the babies. Eat the baby arms. Like,
eat the babies.
Like, what's wrong with them?
There was another occurrence with a man named Tony. Tony recounts his encounter with a melonhead in Chardon, Ohio. He was driving with his family down Chillicothe Road, when they came to a section of the road with fields on both sides. There was an irrigation ditch separating the road from the fields. That's where Tony spotted him. He explained, quote, I looked out my window and saw him, a melon head. He or it was running next to the ditch. We were going about 45 to 50 miles per hour, and the melon head was actually keeping up with us.
What?
That's freaky.
Like, how, like, are they, like, I want to see one. Like, I want to know, like, are they full size? Or are they tiny,
like,
child size?
I think they're child size.
Okay. They just, like,
they're,
are
like,
stunted.
They're supposed to be kids. Yeah. Well,
Damn.
actually here, well, wait. So here it shows, he's, like, giving the description. So, he describes them, the clothes as ripped brown pants with a white shirt with red stains. Their appearance was about 5'7", so not small. Light brown skin, large head, 2 holes where the ears should have been. The creature jumped into the woods as their car went around a curve in the road.
What in the world? 5'7"? That's taller than me. Like, what?
Oh, wait, that's taller than me, too. That's so weird.
Crazy.
I'm confused. Yeah, I'm confused on that.
Maybe it's like a full-grown melon head. Like a melon head who survived the days.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
He just grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Melon head all grown up.
Once you eat babies, it's tons of nutrition. You grow strong and tall.
The last state is Connecticut. So there's 3 states that they've, been seen or heard of, whatever. So in Connecticut, they also have several variations of the melon head legend. One variation is that the Fairfield County was the location of an asylum for the criminally insane that burned down in the fall of 1960, resulting in the death of all of the staff and most of the patients, with 10 to 20 inmates unaccounted for, supposedly having survived and escaped to the woods around Fairfield County and New Haven County. The legend states that their deformities is the result of them resorting to cannibalism in order to survive the harsh winters of the region and inbreeding, which in turn caused them to develop hydrosyphilis. So every single one talks about hydrosyphilis.
Yeah, like that looks like melon heady, so I get that's the cause,
Yeah. Another variation is that the Melonheads were descendants of colonial era family from Shelton Trumbull, who were exiled after accusations of witchcraft were made against them, causing them to retreat to the woods. Melonheads allegedly prey upon humans who wander into their territory.
Damn.
Now, for the third variation, known as Dracula Drive.
Ooh.
There are many streets in Connecticut that are commonly referred to as Dracula Drive. The Melonheads are said to lurk around those roads, and Fairfield Dracula Drive is a nickname for Velvet Street, and that's where Megan O'Connell was when something terrifying happened. According to the article I read, Megan and a group of her friends decided they wanted to do something fun after a high school football game in the early 1980s. Megan's friend Debbie had a Ford Granada, and they all piled in to it in search of an adventure. Normal high schoolers.
Get in, loser, we're going adventuring.
Or gone Melonhead searching. I don't know.
Hunting.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Melonhead hunting. They ended up on Velvet Street, where they got out of the car to look for some melonheads. As they searched the woods, they heard Debbie's car turn on behind them. Stunned, they run back to where it was parked. The headlights flashed, and suddenly the car was barreling towards them.
Jesus Christ.
They took cover, and as the car drove by, they saw its occupants, creatures that could almost pass for human, were it not for their bulbous heads.
No.
Yeah, so freaking Melonheads stole her car.
How?
I have no fucking clue. I also wanted to mention something that I read off of michigansotherside.com. It was a comment from a user, and it says, quote, I grew up in Southwest Michigan and with the legend. In Bridgman, there is a small old tunnel that goes beneath I-94. Everyone in Bridgman grew up hearing different stories. I was always told that the nuclear plant used to test on unfortunate people, and they eventually escaped into the woods. My family and I would drive to the tunnel at night and stop in the middle. Roll down your windows, unlock the doors, and turn off the car. Honk slowly 3 times, and if the melon heads don't get you then, they may show up at the end of the tunnel once you turn the car back on. If they do not appear, they will get you in the woods. If you decide to turn around, they will get under your car and follow you home. To try and avoid this, drive through the woods. It is a twisting and disorienting road with very few empty houses. Melon heads will be following and watching you from the woods. Just when you think you'll never find your way out, you make it back to the tunnel. Repeat the process, leaving, and hope that you don't bring any home with you.
That's freaking terrifying. Would you risk it? I don't know if I would.
I totally fucking would. Like, if it's
really?
If it's an urban legend, because, I mean, I've done that, like, Bloody Mary stuff, but as a kid, and I was, like, terrified, but I've totally done it. So I think I'm down if it's, like, an urban legend. But if it's known to be, like, 100% real, I don't know if I would. Like,
I would bring, like, a weapon, because if you're, like, feral, like, you're, like, out there surviving.
Like,
you're, like
playing with, like, an Ouija board or, like, doing a seance, that shit is real. I'm not gonna fuck with it anymore. But I do want to mention the websites that I did get this information off of. I did use a few others, though, and I forgot to cite them, but one is ranker.com, and then the other one was michigansotherside.com.
Michigan's Other Side.
Yeah. So if you want to hear about creepy stuff from Michigan, then totally check out that website. And that's my story on those melon heads.
The legend of the melon heads, baby.
Yes.
Damn. All right. Well, my story is also, like, a little bit different. It's, like, true crime-esque. I mean, it is true crime, but it's not, like, the typical murder story that I normally do. And I also want to shout out to my coworker, Andrea. She sent me this story, like, a couple, I want to say months ago, and I was, like, in love with it, and I was like, thank you for sending me this. This is so fucking weird. And she was like, I hope this isn't, like, too scary for you. And I was like, no. Like, I was really happy that she likes creepy stuff too. But
I'm excited.
This is about, I'm excited too. I'm excited to tell you guys. Also, this story has, like, video, like, of showing what I'm going to talk about. So I'll post that so you guys can, like, see what I saw and what I feel, and I'm scared. But anyways,
yes.
This is the story of Anatoly Moskvin. He was born on September 1st, 1966.
That's
and
my
he
birthday!
Grew up. Really?
That's my birthday! I mean, not 1966, but, you know. Virgo, hey.
Virgo boy. Also, if I butcher this name, I'm not Russian. I'm sorry. But he grew up in Nizhny Novgorod. And it's the 5th largest city in Russia. As a child, he was always fascinated with cemeteries, and he began exploring them with his friends.
Same.
As he grew up, I know, they're super interesting. Me and my grandma used to have picnics at the cemetery and stuff. But anyways, as he grew up, he became an academic. He graduated from the philological faculty of Moscow State University. And philological is just, like, the branch of knowledge that deals with, like, structure, historical development, and relationship of languages.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so he studied that, and then he also focused on Celtic history and folklore as well. His other passion was languages, obviously, and linguistics, and he learned how to speak 13 different languages. So,
holy
smart.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I can't even learn 2, so I don't know how he does it, but more power to you. Moskvin became a lecturer in Celtic studies and in the Nizhny Novgorod Linguistic University, and worked at the Institute of Foreign Languages. So that was, like, kind of his thing. He wrote tons of books, papers, translations, all that good stuff. And he even worked as a journalist at some point and throughout his life. Other academics described him as being a genius, but definitely being, like, pretty eccentric and funky. He was also a self-proclaimed necropolist, which is an expert of local cemeteries in his area. And
tight.
Yeah, so he, like, knew them well. He claimed that his love for cemeteries was due to a childhood incident where he witnessed the funeral of an 11-year-old girl. Allegedly,
Oh.
men in black suits forced him to kiss the dead girl's face. He said,
What?
yeah, like,
That's
he said,
weird.
it's scary. Like, who would do that? Like, give her a smooch, little boy. Like,
Ew.
ah! But
Yeah,
in
that's
Russian, so it's even scarier.
Ew! Oh my god, there's a fucking spider. Hold on, sorry. Ew.
No!
Ew, there's a spider that just literally, like, flew down my wall.
Oh my god. Okay, so Brandon's been letting this spider live on our ceiling, and I keep telling him to get rid of it, and I just looked, and it's not there anymore. And I'm
No! Burn the house down.
I know, I'm like, oh, this is our 30-day notice for leaving.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead.
So in his own words, like, regarding that incident, he said, an adult pushed my face down to the waxy forehead of the girl in an embroidered cap, and there was nothing I could do but kiss her as ordered. He explained that he kissed her once and then again and again. Like, he couldn't stop.
Ew,
he had a deep interest. I know, I'm like, yuck.
Wait, hold on. Is this a true story?
This is a true story. Like, he's still alive. But anyways, he had a deep interest in not only cemeteries, but burial rituals, death, and the occult. He loved to learn, so he kept a stocked as fuck library. He had 60,000 books and documents, which is a lot. Like, where do you even keep that? But all of them had, like, information about things he was passionate about, so, like, cemeteries, all that stuff, and he also collected dolls. That was also his, like, other hobby. So in 2005, Anatoly was commissioned to make a list of all the dead people in 40 regions surrounding him. So he, like, went out to the cemeteries. He explored 752 cemeteries by foot in 2 years. That's so many. He said he would walk 20 miles a day.
Wait, 752 in 2 years. So that's 365 times 2. What is that?
A lot.
Wait, hold on. Yeah.
Where's my calculator? Oh my god, yesterday I did math at Best Buy and I actually got it right. 730. That's more than one a day.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then I'm pretty sure he didn't go to one, like, every single day. So, like, he must have done. He, like, or he might have, like, hit up, like, other ones, like, multiple in one day.
Yeah, he was, like, obsessed with this. Like, this was, like, his life. He literally would walk 20 miles a day doing this, and he would, like, just, like, lived, like, whatever. He drank from puddles, slept in hay bales on random farms, and sometimes he would even just sleep at the cemetery. Like, chill vibes, whatever. I'm gonna crash here.
I've slept at a cemetery before.
Really?
Yeah, I slept at Hollywood Forever when we were filming a scene for Insecure, that TV show on HBO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did, like, a 3-day shoot. It wasn't scary because it was, like, a bunch of, like, lights and people because of the show. But, yeah, it was pretty freaking cool.
This dude's just, like, posting up on a headstone. He's like, this is a nice pillow. I'll chill here. Like,
oh, that's crazy.
He just, like, this is his life. Like, he just does it. He loves the cemetery. He loves the dead. Even sometimes he would spend the night in an empty coffin that was, like, being prepared for burial.
That's weird. Oh my god,
that's,
I'd be
like,
scared.
Dirty and wrong. Like, that's, like, I don't know. People are super weird about that. Like, do you know that if a body is put into, like, a casket on accident, they, like, can't reuse that casket? Like, I don't know. It's, like, weird rules. But anyways, so he was making this list of all the dead people, but his list was never published. Like, people who have seen the list have described it as unique and priceless and, like, super important and just, like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The editor for the paper called Necrologies that he normally contributed to, and he was a journalist, said that he was a loner with certain quirks, but he never got the feeling that he would do something wrong. Anatoly worked as a freelance writer for the newspaper from 2006 to 2010 and wrote mostly about each cemetery's history. So, I mean,
that's a lot.
752, like, there's a lot.
All the history for all of them.
Yeah, like, he was super passionate about it. Like, honestly, from what I read about him, it was, like, he would just, like, write, it would always circle back to, like, a cemetery. No matter what he was writing about, it would always circle back to that.
Wow.
So throughout his life, he was always somewhat secluded. He lived with his parents. He never dated. He never had sex or drank alcohol or smoked.
Wait, is that all his... Oh, wait, no, it's not all
His
his life.
whole life. Yeah,
Oh
he
my
never
God.
did.
Whoa.
He
He's
said that he
amazing.
found sex disgusting, and I'm like, can't relate, but sure.
Isn't that, like, asexual?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean...
I think that's what it is, right? When you don't have any, like, sexual desires or something?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you don't want to have sex, and you don't feel, like, sexually charged and all that jazz. So instead of doing, like, all the things that normal kids and adults and people do with their life, he explored a different hobby, which was his doll collection. He loved dolls, and he loved collecting them. On November 2nd, 2012, so not even that long ago, Mosfin was arrested for an investigation that involved several grave desecrations. They had been searching for whoever was responsible for the crimes for almost 2 years. They had a lead when a terrorist attack took place at the airport in Moscow, and they had heard that Muslim graves were being violated. And, like, I guess, I don't know, like, I guess there was, like, a political situation, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, they were, like, going against the Muslim graves and stuff, but they thought it was done by some extremist group, so they called in the most experienced detectives from the Center of Combating Extremism, so, like, the big boys. 8 officers went into Moskvin's home, and they discovered 26 to 29 bodies. I heard, like, different conflicting things in his home and in his garage.
Whoa!
Yeah. And they also found metal nameplates taken off the headstones, photographs that he had taken of, like, open graves and bodies, too. So he was just, like, all this fucking evidence, like, for them to see.
So he was stealing bodies?
Yeah, he was stealing bodies.
What was he doing with them?
You're about to find out.
Oh, fuck.
So he was found to have dug up 150 graves. And
holy shit,
his shoe prints even match the ones near the graves. So they're like, you can't lie to us. We already know. And the worst part of it was what you just said, what he was doing with the bodies.
Oh God. I think I know.
So let me paint a picture for you real quick.
Ew.
In the video that I talked about earlier, it shows, like, where he lives, and it's, like, an apartment that he shares with his parents. He's, like, a low-level hoarder and, like, pack rat type dude. Like, he has, like, paperwork and books stacked at every corner, and it's, like, hard to navigate around there. And he also has, like, dolls all around the house. And it turns out he dug up all of these bodies, and they were children mostly.
Oh, God.
And the police found tons of instructions for making dolls and a bunch of stuff on mummification. So what he was doing was drying the corpses in a mixture of salt and baking soda, and then he would store the bodies away in the cemetery for a while, like, while they, like, soaked in that. And then when they were finally dried out, he would bring the bodies home, where he would experiment his doll making instructions with them. He would wrap all their limbs in strips of cloth to hide the fact that their bodies were, like, withering away and, like, rotting. He stuffed them with padding and rags, and then he would sometimes add wax over their face, like a mask, by pouring candle wax on top of them and then, like, letting it dry in, like, their crevices, basically. And then he would, like, paint on it with, like, nail polish and lipstick to make it look like a face. He even used nylon tights around their faces. Like, some of them didn't have, like, a face. Like, they just had, like, tights over. And then he would even put toys or buttons in some of their eye sockets so they could watch TV with him.
That's so creepy. Whoa, I love this. I love this story. Is there pictures? Like,
there is. There's a video, dude. You can see, like, all the dolls.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm getting on that.
I'll post it on our Instagram too so everyone can see. But he would put them in wigs and children's clothes, including stockings and knee-length boots were, like, mostly his style. When the police were looking around, they bumped into one of the doll bodies and music started playing. So later they realized that he had shoved music boxes inside of their rib cages to make them, like, real dolls.
Oh my gosh.
He had marked all of the birthdays of each victim in his bedroom. And this entire time, His parents are living in the fucking house. Like,
That's what
they
I was
didn't
just
even
thinking about.
question this. Like, they were just like, whatever. They thought he was making life-size mannequins. His mom, Elvira, said,
Wait,
we saw
what?
these. Yeah, his mom's name is Elvira.
That's
like,
tight.
I know. Look, you go, girl. You're kind of cool. Whatever. She said, we saw these dolls, but we did not expect they were dead. There were dead bodies inside. We thought it was his hobby to make such big dolls and did not see anything wrong with it. And then, like, every summer, they would go to their country house, so he would be alone in the apartment all summer. So he, like, all summer would be, like, grave robbing it up, bringing the bodies back, making them into dolls. So then when his parents came back, it was, like, good to go. And he had been doing this for over 10 years, like, collecting all of these bodies.
And he never got caught. Oh, like,
until 2011, which is, like, not a long time ago.
Right.
So basically what supposedly, like, kicked it off is, like, in May 2003, he had a fight with his parents because they didn't give him their approval to adopt a little girl from the orphanage. He really wanted to have a child, specifically a girl, but guardianship authorities wouldn't let him adopt due to his low income. And he was, like, just a single weird dude. He told his mother that he would engage in black magic and get in touch with the spirits of dead children, mummify their bodies, and keep them at home if he had to. The same day as the fight with his parents, he discovered the inconspicuous grave of a girl, so he decided to dig it out. Later in the day, he came to the grave, dug it with a chisel at the head of the coffin, then gouged a hole in the coffin lid and pulled out what was left of the girl's body through the hole in the top of the coffin.
Wow.
The body was in, like, horrible condition. It was covered with flyworm larvae. It was decomposed. It was just, like, icky. She had long hair and she was dressed in a white blouse, black shirt, old tights, and shoes. So that's kind of where he got, like, his, like, doll style from. She was the first one that he tried to mummify, and he would come to change the mixture he used once a week. So he was, like, doing this from the cemetery, like, would put the stuff on her and then come back and, like, wash, like, clean it, do it again. And he said that people saw him there a lot, but they just thought he was, like, feeding birds and just, like, living his life. Yeah, it's crazy. He said the biggest thing causing problems with, like, mummifying the bodies was the fact that, like, it kept getting wet, like, moist. So he started covering them in cellophane and stuff to, like, make sure they stayed dry.
Ew.
So gross. So in court, he confessed to 44 counts of abusing graves and dead bodies from ages 3 to 12. Like, the kids were 3 to 12.
Wow.
So fucking sad. He claimed that he did this because the parents had abandoned the girls, so he brought them home to warm them up. He also said that he felt sympathetic for the children and he wanted to bring them back to life in any way possible, like magic or science, but their physical remains were too decayed, so he basically had to spruce them up. He knew what he did was criminal, but he felt the children calling out to him to rescue them, and his motivation to have his own daughter made him want to do it even more. In his own words, he said, I meant no harm to them. I was waiting for science to find ways for these girls to live again. That's why I wanted to be an expert in making mummies, to preserve them till that day. I wanted to communicate with these girls. I lay on the grave and try to get in touch with them. I listened to what they said. Often they asked me to take them out for a walk.
Well, okay, so he genuinely thought that he'd be, like,
helping them.
Yeah.
Like, earlier I mentioned he studied, like, Celtic history, and, like, in Celtic history and stuff, like, it says that you can, like, if you lay on their grave, you can, like, hear them and, like, talk to them, like, communicate with them. So he would, like, sleep on their grave and, like, lay on their grave and, like, feel them talking and stuff, supposedly.
Wow. That's interesting.
I know. It's freaking crazy. So during the trial and everything, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia and he was deemed unfit to stand trial any longer. So they released him from all criminal liability. So he's like, whatever, good to go. He was sentenced to coercive medical measures in a psychiatric ward. But in 2018, they talked about letting him out to continue treatment from his home, but the victims' families fought against it and was like, he needs to fucking stay.
Yeah.
So, the first victim's name was Olga, the one that he, like, mummified first. And her mom is Natalia Chardimova. Sorry if I butchered that. I don't know. Chardimova. She said that she insists on him having a life sentence and to be kept under constant surveillance. Basically, she was already like super traumatized from the way that her daughter died in the first place because she was murdered by a drug addict who clubbed her over the head with a metal bar.
Damn.
So that's how her daughter died. And exactly 10 years after her daughter was buried is when the police opened her grave to discover that her remains were gone. Just 2 days before... Oh, go ahead.
Tragic.
It's evil. It's like... I mean, I don't even think he thought of, like, that part of it.
Like, her mom literally cannot catch a break.
I know. There's, like, pictures of her, and she looks devastated. And
horrible. Poor thing.
And it caused, like, problems in her marriage and just a bunch of things. But, so just 2 days before Anatoly did take the remains, Natalia and her husband were there painting a fence that went around Olga's grave. And when they came back to finish it, they noticed someone was there because a wreath had been moved. So for 9 years after that, they didn't know who disturbed the grave or like what happened. But what made everything like even more sick was that he would leave signed notes like at this little girl's grave, signed as DA, which stood for Dobry Angel or Kind Angel, which is what he called himself.
The Kind Angel?
So fucking stupid. And then each time they went to visit her grave, they were horrified because he would leave her notes like all the time, calling her little lady and all these little pet names. And every holiday he would leave something. On the first and last day of the school year, he would leave something. He would even be like, congrats on 5th grade, congrats on 8th grade. Like he would remember what grade, she would be in and stuff. And so now, after all this has happened, they have like reburied Olga and she's in an unmarked grave. So hopefully no one can find her or anything. And yeah, that's the story of Anatoly Moskvin. He's still in the psychiatric ward, but who knows if he's going to get let out. He's like a freaking genius. And I don't know. They say, like, really he's crazy. Doing better and stuff. Like, he's, like, improved a bunch since he's gone in and been, like, medicated and everything, but...
I mean, that probably makes sense because it was kind of... I mean, I wouldn't say it's a long time ago, but it did happen, years ago. And I do believe that, change can happen if with the right medication and whatever the fuck,
For sure. Like, if you're, like, actually sick, like, I mean, he's schizophrenic. And if he was, like, hearing voices and they're talking to him and stuff, it's like he doesn't.
But what if he wasn't actually schizo? And what if he actually did hear them? Like, what if he was like a medium or something?
Yes, maybe.
Like, oh my goodness.
I mean, I would believe it because he was like always there. He was like opening his mind to that all the time. Like he was like, please communicate with me. Like, yeah, I just thought that was freaking crazy. Like I think the craziest part of it is that his parents were like in the house. When you guys see the video of the dolls and stuff, you're gonna be like the doll bodies, I don't know, you're gonna be like, how the F did they not know? Like, what?
That's crazy. And there was a lot of them.
Yes, there was so many of them. A lot. 26 to 29.
That's a lot. Yeah,
so many.
And for the parents to be like, oh, I didn't know they were real, I thought they were just fake dolls. Like, exactly. Oh my god,
they were, like, idiots. Sitting on the couch and stuff and, like, all around. And also they are mummified, but I think they would still smell, like, funky.
Yeah, probably.
They have to. I don't know. But, yeah, that's my crazy story.
That was a good one. I really like that one.
Thank you. I literally, when I read it, I was like, this is insane. Like, what? Who does this?
That kind of, like, reminds me of this short horror film that I watched the other day. It had to do with, like, dolls and, like, humans, I guess. Like, real people and dolls. And there's, like, this doctor that creates, like... He, like, brings dead children back to life, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's like a curse or something where, like, a family will come in and be like, my son, he just passed away. Can you please bring him back to life or whatever? And so he does, like, this thing where, like, it's a doll and you think the person thinks that it's a human. So you can see them hugging the child and it's like a human. But if they take the doll outside, it's a doll. It's not human anymore. It's only human inside the house.
That's and like you can Pet only Cemetery shit.
I haven't seen that yet. I need to watch that. But then, like, you're only allowed to spend 1 hour a day with the child, and if you spend longer than crazier shit happens, like you end up becoming the doll too. And it's just like,
What?
it's so crazy. I'll probably like put the link in somewhere or like tell you guys the name of it to watch it, because it was pretty good. I think it was pretty good. It was like 10 minutes long, I think.
That sounds good.
Or less. Yeah, but
I like the concept. Like, I know everybody wants to bring their kid back to life if they die. Like, why don't you? It's like the worst loss ever.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's it, you guys.
Also, we have like some theme ideas and stuff, and we want to start like mixing it up, adding some crazy stuff in. So if you guys want to hear like a story, or if you've seen something crazy, let us know. We're happy to cover it.
Yeah, we have been getting some emails with, links to articles and cases and stuff. So definitely give us your suggestions. We'll put that on our to-do list or something. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed episode 8 with our urban legend and then our creepy ass doll story, dead people doll story.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks for listening. Have a good week. Have a good day.
Yes. Stay positive, stay spooky, stay all the good stuff and creepy and whatever the hell.
And we'll
meet you 6 feet
feet
under.
under.